Okay. Hello and welcome to the Scream podcast, where each and every week we deep dive into a horror film that we've seen or not seen, and we give it our professional review. That I did that with air quotes marks.
Very professional.
Yeah, my name's George and this is Scott.
Hello.
Scott, how you doing, mate?
I'm good. Yeah. I've got a week off work, so it's nice and chilled out.
Yeah, it's bloody warm today as well, so you will have to bear with us.
Yeah,
we've not had any drinks.
No, we've not.
We've not had any drinks.
We'll have to try and...
Do you want me to go and get us some water?
Should we have some water?
Right, let's go and get some water. Scott, why don't you introduce the episode today?
Okay.
Slightly.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can always cut this if he sounds like he has no idea what he's on about. But yeah, I'm just going to go and get us some water because we've started now, so we may as well carry on.
I'll try my hardest. Yeah, so today, if you've watched us on Facebook, we put a video up because we have this new lovely poster. So the poster we scratched off, and it come to a film called Hangover Square. And Hangover Square was made in 1945. So black and white film. Very, very old-fashioned in the way that it's done. So it's really orchestral, a lot of orchestral music, obviously black and white, and the story as well. The story is actually really smooth running. It's quite easy to follow along, and it has got really good story to it. So, yeah.
I was gonna get water, and then I seen these in the fridge and thought, do you know what?
While we do
Let's have a bit.
Cheers.
Yeah. So yeah, Hangover Square.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
So when we got this, after we finished doing the video for it, we both looked at each other like, what the hell is this? And when it actually come to watching it, we were both at the end when the film finished. We were like, wow,
absolutely
what
made
a film.
Up.
Yeah, it's not my kind of film whatsoever. So what I've said in the past is, when it comes to black and white, I struggle. Yeah. But watching this film, I was encapsulated through the whole film, to be fair, weren't you?
It was unique.
It was.
And I think what it did for me, that we are going to go through the story, but it's probably not going to be as we've done for the last few weeks.
Won't be as in depth.
Yeah, purely because we were enjoying the film while we were watching it, so we hadn't seen it before. So what we wanted to do is, yes, we made a lot of notes on it. Yeah. But what we wanted to do was actually watch the film instead of looking down while we're making notes. And I tended to do that throughout it, but halfway through I just found myself being like stuck facing the screen.
That's it. If we've watched the film before, we sort of know the run through the film anyway. We sort of know what's going on. Whereas with this, we both just didn't have a clue with it whatsoever. So it was really good.
Really, really enjoyed it. We'll give our score at the end of it, but I can already say that we were absolutely blown away with it. Yeah. What it did for me, so the first sort of opening shots of the film are just a still of the street called Hangover Square, which obviously we'll get into. But that was sort of.
It's like a drawing of the street, isn't it? It's not like a real image. It wasn't the
actual still image, was it? It was a drawing of it.
Reminded me of very Oliver Twisty, like intro. That's like right. When you watch that, it's reminded me of that really bad.
Which was really interesting. But what it did for me was it reminded me of all the Alfred Hitchcock films. So early Alfred Hitchcock, like Vertigo and Rear Window, which you've probably not seen, but anyone that's a fan of Alfred Hitchcock will understand what I'm saying. Is that it's set in sort of one or two or three locations max, wasn't it? There was like three or four locations max in this whole entire film. Bar maybe some walking scenes. Yeah,
but even that's a regular occurrence.
Yeah.
Within the film to where they actually go. It's a very small set scene, isn't it?
So as you can see behind us, we scratched it off one of these. We'll probably do another one. Maybe next week, but I'm going to talk about what we're going to do next week. I think we're going to do next week. You can agree with me. We haven't spoken about it yet. Will agree with me at the end of this. So I think we'll just get cracking. I didn't make any notes on the actual film itself. I forgot to do that, but I think I remember pretty much the whole backstory. And
I've got it.
Have you got it?
Yeah. You did do it. So I sort of wrote what was going on in the film. Whereas you've probably written So we sort of switched roles, didn't we? We said that when we watched it.
Yeah.
But I basically did what you usually do about the film, whereas you actually did.
I mean the real life backstory to the film.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
So I've not even got that.
Yeah, so what I was saying a minute ago when you nipped out was it's actually a very easy story.
Yeah,
and it's, you know, if people struggle like with me with black and white films to get into it, and it's actually really easy. Straight away you sort of know what's going on. It tells you the story very clear and simple from the off, which is really good. So it's not too difficult to understand at all.
I really enjoyed it. So the lead actor, I forgot his name, the lead actor in this sadly passed away a week or two after this film was released.
It was,
due to dietary issues, which we can only imagine was leading up to his next role. So this film was released in 1945. This is going off guesswork, but we couldn't find too much more on this. So he played this role, actually an incredible actor. He was so good in this film, for the times.
And for the character that he was playing as well.
For the character, he did really well. He could tell this was a role that he dove into massively, got real behind it. He passed away through dietary issues a week after this film was released, and was meant to be like the next, you know, big thing in not Hollywood, because I think this is an English film.
It is,
but he was meant to be the next big thing. Which sort of leaves you with a bit of an omen already. You know, you sort of watching this film knowing exactly what happened to this guy, like the guy from The Crow. And like there's a few other sort of actors that have films or whatever where people have died during the shooting or just after the shooting of the film, which sort of leaves a bit of it's quite eerie while you're watching it, because you're watching somebody that quite literally as soon as they finished this film passed away.
So they probably didn't even see the finished article.
No, exactly. So they were probably waiting for the premiere.
Get to see this sort of masterpiece that was really good.
That's sort of a little backstory behind the film. Directed by John Brown. Again, I can't really tell you too much about what he did, but I think he did a fantastic job from this. From what I can gather, Alfred Hitchcock must have taken some influence from this guy going forward, because you watch The Birds, you watch Vertigo, you watch Rear Window, even Psycho for that matter. You can see the influence massively.
The opening scene is very Psycho, isn't it?
Yeah,
it really is.
So we open the film anyway with our lead character called George Harvey Bone, which obviously you find out a little bit straight after the scene, basically. It is a POV shot of him staring down a little old man, and he's got a knife in his hand, and straight away we see this guy stabbing this old man.
We were shocked at how fast the killing
was. It was quite literally 10 seconds into the film when we got our first murder.
Not any more than that.
And there are a few murders in this film.
And the other thing was as well, so as fast as you see someone make the first killing in the film, you see the killer straight away. They show you the killer straight away, so you know straight away there's no blurred vision through the audience.
There's no mystery involved with what's about to happen. You're just following this. Essentially, the film's based on you following this guy's way into madness, his path to madness, basically, and it is a great. The way they tell it is a great tale.
It's a different take on how a killer's made.
However, with it being 1945, it's the way the guy sort of stumbles and goes falls backwards
slow
down
motion, and then you just see a hand go.
You don't see it. Obviously, you don't see any violence.
There's no blood or anything.
It's off screen, but then as off screen as that stabbing is, we then see him grab, because obviously we're in 1945,
up, isn't it?
We see like a chandelier, which is essentially a candled lantern or like a gas lantern. He grabs it off the wall and launches it on his body. So, okay, we're not allowed to show a stabbing, but we can show a man being burned alive.
It's really
crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know why that was allowed, but the stabbing wasn't. It
Yeah.
was the same reason why you don't see a stabbing in Psycho. It's because the production company, whoever it is, the ratings company say you can't show a stabbing.
It's too much for the audience.
Too real.
Yeah,
it's too much for it. But you can show a man being burned alive.
Yeah, quite literally.
Very, very bizarre. But 1945, we don't know the rules. Obviously, you know that's what they are. You can show that, but you can't show a stabbing.
Yeah.
But instantly, so 30 seconds in, me and Scott looked at each other and went, "Oh shit! Okay,
wow.
Okay."
Weren't expecting it at all.
Well and truly involved in this. Yeah. What we then see is, as he's leaving the scene of the crime, we again see a POV, but his vision's like blurred, and he's all stumbly, and we straight away go out into the street, and people in the street saying, "Oh, fire! Fire! Somebody call the emergency team," and then their sirens come on straight away.
Yeah.
So they're on the way to the house, and then we see our guy George walking through the street, sort of not knowing it. His eyes are like mad, aren't they? They're like
they're all over the place.
As he's like stumbling through the street.
So I thought, I don't know if you thought the same. I think I thought that his blurred vision was through, you know, like carbon monoxide within the building.
Yeah, that's what I gathered straight away.
Yeah.
That's what I thought at the beginning anyway.
Yeah.
You know, there's we got people trying to help George because he's stumbling through the street.
He's got blood on the side of his head.
That's it. He's got a cut on the side of his head from what? I don't really know.
Probably a little. Well, the guy at the begining's throwing stuff at him.
And that's it. He's throwing. He stabs him.
It's like ridiculous.
He's throwing like a candlestick. Isn't he? He's like stumbling.
Looks like Ebenezer Scrooge. That old guy, doesn't he?
And then we sort of. We have George stumbling through the street. He's got his blood. He was sort of walking into people and like, "Hey, what are you doing walking in my way, young man?"
It's so old-fashioned.
It's very old-fashioned, but it's part of the charm of the film.
Yeah. Definitely. It wouldn't work the same.
Part of the charm.
Yeah. He doesn't really know what's gone on himself. No. He sort of comes out of this blur. Yeah,
so it's the first instance where we get to see that maybe it's a bit of a blackout. He has these blackouts. He doesn't know what happens because he comes down and goes, "Oh, what's going on over there?" And he's like, "Oh, there's a fire. You've just come from that direction. Did you not see the ambulances?
That's
Did you not see the fire brigade?" Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, I don't know what happened." And then they start to notice the blood on his head.
Yeah.
He freaks out and sort of just legs it.
Yeah, that's
walks away. And then we have him sort of
he gets home.
At home, we think the next day.
Well, he walks through the door, doesn't he?
Yeah, he walks through the door.
And there's a woman playing the piano and a man sort of overwatching her.
That's right.
Seeing what she's doing.
Yeah, I thought it was written next day, but I realised it wasn't.
Yeah, so then...
I thought this was his wife, but it turns out it's not.
Yeah, this is the only bit that I found a bit confusing throughout the whole film.
I got it at the end, so... The guy the old man that's in his room is her dad.
Her dad.
And he is like a music composer.
Conductor.
So he conducts operas and
George is the composer.
And George is a composer.
Yeah.
So she's only there because he's friends with George. She's friends with George through the dad.
I just thought it was weird that they were at George's house.
Yeah. They just apparently people just walk into to people's houses in the 1945s. That's apparently what happens. We get a nice interaction with the dad, and I didn't get the guy's name.
The woman?
The dad.
No, I didn't get his name. No. Sorry, I got the woman's.
Because we were writing the stuff down, there was a couple of bits we missed, but you'll understand.
She's called Barbara.
Yeah, so we have Barbara on the piano and then Barbara's dad. Barbara's dad is saying, "Oh, I've got this show coming up. I'd really like you to write the music for me. I've heard some of your work." Because he's reading through some of his stuff that he's already written.
Yeah.
And then he says, "It's going to be your first show and you'll make it big."
He's really impressed.
Come join on. Yeah. So he's like, "Oh, brilliant."
It's everything he's sort of been working up for, George. It's everything that he wants. He wants to be involved with like the Philharmonic and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Because as we said, we're based in London.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Sorry, as he's walking out of this house that he's that the murder's took place, he walked past a sign that says Fulham.
Yeah.
And he looks very confused at it.
Yeah. So it's clearly not near where he lives.
So the dad walks off, and then we have a very serious conversation between Barbara and George. George tells Barbara, I had a blackout again. I ended up in Fulham somehow. We think it's the next day because we then get the newspaper guy come past.
Yeah, because Barbara
it must be the next day.
Barbara says you didn't come home.
Back all night. Yeah, you were gone all night. Yeah.
And he can't remember. Now he knows that he has these blackouts. Yeah. And it's clear that stuff has happened in the past because he's spoken to Barbara about it previously.
Before, because she's aware.
Because she says something quite significant. She says, did anything happen again?
Again.
So clearly stuff happens.
We think she knows what's going on.
Yeah.
But
he clearly confides in her.
Yeah.
Which is why we thought it was his wife.
Yeah, we thought it was his wife straight up.
Yeah.
But it turns out he's not.
Yeah.
She's not.
They seem to be getting longer as well.
Yeah, that's it. Paperboy outside starts shouting in the street about a murder that's happened in Fulham. He runs out because he knows that was the time he woke up when he realised he was in Fulham. He runs out, buys the paper, and it says that a man's been murdered. This Barbara is very concerned, tells him that he needs to go to a doctor, and then we cut very quickly to him at the doctor.
He says he's going to go to Scotland Yard.
That's it, Scotland Yard. I need to go to Scotland Yard.
He knows someone at Scotland Yard.
I'll speak to the doctor at Scotland Yard.
Yeah.
So then we literally cut straight to him at the doctor's office in Scotland Yard, and he tells him that he found a knife in his coat pocket.
Yeah. And had a blackout again. The doctor sort of brushes all of this aside very strangely. It's really weird. He takes his blood.
Yeah. So he takes his blood, and then he takes the blood from the knife and his jacket. Yeah. And says, "I'll run a test." But 1945, can they do that?
Well, no.
I didn't think
Which
that.
is...
They can maybe see if it's close to matching, but they wouldn't be able to tell.
DNA back then, not with blood. No. That only come out in the 1980s.
I thought that.
Strange. So it's sort of ahead of its time if you think about it.
Strange, but that's what happens.
Yeah.
He says, "I'll be a couple of hours."
Yeah. He says, "You can go home."
Go home.
He's like,
"You might have murdered someone, but go home, mate.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. At a later date."
And they leave. Yeah. That Barbara and George leave the room, and then the doctor guy opens up a side door
to the policeman's
and he's
office,
like,
and he
keep
goes,
an eye on him.
Send someone to keep an eye on him. I've just taken his blood, and he says he doesn't remember what happened during last night's events that happened in Fulham.
And so I'm suspicious that he's killed someone.
He told him he was in Fulham as well.
Yeah.
That's pretty much that interaction.
It's quite quick, isn't it?
And then we find out straight away that there's no match to the blood on the knife.
Yeah, the next scene is back at George's house, and that doctor turns up at his house and he goes,
saying,
"There's no match on that. You're all good."
The man that was murdered was a crook. Yeah, and
he's an antiques dealer, but he's a crook.
He was a bit of a crook, so he says we're putting it down to somebody trying to get revenge on him.
Yeah,
due to owing them money or something like that. That's it.
So they sort of wash their hands of the situation.
That's pretty much it. Yeah. George is like, "Oh, brilliant!" Yeah. Barbara's like, "Oh, wonderful! You can get back to your music now! Yay!" Like everything's fine again.
Yeah.
Let's forget the blackout that you've had for 2 hours, where you may or may not have killed a man.
Yeah. Just carry on as you were.
It's a good film. It's just the plot in 1945 clearly isn't taken as seriously.
They don't. I think with the films then, they just didn't mess around.
Yeah.
So they don't try and stick in little sore thumbs here and there. They're very straight to the point.
It's straight to the point. We're not having George walking home from the doctor's going, "Oh God, I wonder if I did or didn't. I'm not sure." We don't have that scene. It's irrelevant to the story.
Bang, bang, bang.
We're giving you story points. This is what's happening. Again, they didn't have 2 hours to tell a story back then either. No. This film was only 77 minutes.
Yeah. Which makes it more enjoyable as well. It's quick.
It was quick, and we actually loved the fact that it was that quick.
Yeah.
Barbara then sort of says, the doctor leaves. Barbara's like, "Come on, you need to live your life." Oh no, sorry. The doctor says you need to live your life with ordinary people.
It says
living with the high life, and it's stressing you out, and it's giving you these more stressful situations.
It says the music. Yeah. When he concentrates on the music intensely, things happen.
Yeah. So you need to relax.
You need to stop with the music. He's trying to say.
and George sort of looks at his jacket and scrubs it again for some reason.
Yeah.
And then he looks at the knife again and sort of has a realisation of something.
Yeah.
He's a bit like, and then he goes to writing his music.
Yeah.
Writes part of his piece for the new
his show that
the new show that he's involved with. Concerto, that's it. Yeah. So he goes to writing this and he writes it really well, and it's some beautiful little bit of music.
And then it goes to does it go to the next scene then?
And then we go to the cabaret scene.
Yeah. Mad.
Which is a very strange time to plot this.
It's really wild.
Yeah. So we have a very seedy cabaret bar.
Yeah.
With all these drunkards at the front of it. Like a very upbeat sort of.
Again, very Oliver Twist.
Oliver, what's the kids one? We could have been anything that we wanted to be.
What?
Do you not remember that?
Yeah.
What was it called?
Know what it is. No, I don't.
But yeah, it's very like cabaret slapstick. Yeah. There's a girl on the stage showing her knickers.
Yeah.
There's loads of men like.
So if you've seen Oliver Twist and Nancy's in the pub and she starts singing, and all the men start.
It's very like that.
Very.
George is in the back watching, and he's like, "Oh my god, I love this woman." Falls in love with her straight away.
What was her name again?
Inetta.
Inetta
is on stage dancing.
Yeah.
And singing, but not greatly either.
No, it's not anything amazing.
I'm not trying to be a music snob, but a voice is like.
You are a music snob.
A voice is okay.
You know it.
Yeah. All right. She's all right, but we then have a scene afterwards. So she walks off stage. We have a scene where he's like.
There's like a sidebar, isn't there?
Yeah, sidebar where. I guess her manager and her are talking.
She goes out the way, away from all the men.
She goes away from I'm not going back in there and doing another song. It's full of drunkards and they're all silly.
Yeah, she hates all the men. She's quite snobby.
Yeah, it's a very dingy bar.
But George has followed them in, hasn't he?
But George has followed in and he likes her.
Yeah.
So they go. She's saying, "Oh, I want to be famous and I want to do some big. I want to make loads of money. I'm not." Earning a shilling or whatever it is that she earns, and that's it for the night. I want to earn big bucks, essentially. And George walks in and says, "Oh, I really enjoyed that. Can I play you a song that I've written? I think it'd go really well for you." Plays it and she's like,
she hates it.
She hates it or just doesn't like him. And then she turns to the manager and goes, "Does he earn a lot of money?" And he's like.
Yeah, he's a big time roller.
He's a big time. So you want to get involved, and sort of then we see this little plot forming where this like working class girl's gonna sort of use this George guy for
his music.
To enhance her career. Which will inevitably then push his career down the gutter because she's just going to use him.
Yeah.
She listens to the song and says, "Oh, that's beautiful. Can you write me some more songs?" He says yes. She knows she's going to make some money off this guy. So we then have the next scene where he's written a song, he's sold it to Ellie, she's made 50 shillings or pounds.
It's 50 guineas.
50 guineas, that's all.
50 guineas is £1 and 5p.
Yeah, but I guess.
But back in 1945,
I guess that was a fair amount. She's like, "Oh, he's boring. I don't like him. I don't want to. Can we not just use this to take off my career?" Yeah. Manager says, "No. Stick around this guy. He'll write you a whole show.
Exactly.
You'll make tons more money." Yeah. She sort of begrudgingly says yes, but we see this plot formed now.
Yeah.
And George is smitten with this girl.
Yeah.
Let me just double check where we're at. George,
because he's at home getting ready. He's already in a tux.
That's right.
And that Barbara woman from the beginning asks him to go to the Philharmonic.
That's right.
And he says, "I'm already engaged."
Yeah.
So they go their separate ways, and he meets up with. I keep remembering.
He meets up with him at a restaurant-y club type place.
Yeah.
They're having
very upper class.
They're having dinner, but she's not interested in him at all. She's looking all over the bar to see if she can find anyone that she likes.
She's not looking at him, is she?
Not looking. He gets a little. He's like, "Pay me some damn attention, motherfucker." He doesn't say it like
Do that in English.
Pay me some damn attention, motherfucker. I would like some damn attention, woman.
Bring me my tea, bitch.
Yeah. She's not interested.
No. They're in Raffini's. That's what it's called.
Raffini's. Yeah. I think I don't even need to read my notes. It's quite clear in my mind. You know?
It's really good.
So then she says, "Oh, let's go and have a drink down with all of the normal people, basically." Yeah. So they go down once they finish their food. They have a drink down below, and is he like an agent, or he's like a music agent, or he deals with shows, or
very high up.
Yeah, it's very high end,
and that's who she's been waiting for.
And that's who she's been waiting for to come in, because her manager's with him, and he says that this guy can get you some big time shows, but you still need George to write you the music.
Exactly. You need to be somewhere first before he'll even give you the time.
This guy will give you the venues, and he'll give you the people that you wish to have in front of you, basically. We instantly see that she likes him a lot more than she likes George. And George is sat there a bit like,
because George is quite a biggish bloke, isn't he?
He's
a bit thinner than me, but quite tall. But whereas this guy's more like slicker hair,
handsome and hey, my Barnet isn't that bad.
Hey, my Barnet.
It is pretty bad, though, isn't it? Too bad. I'm going to take it off.
It's just very George.
I'm going to take it off here because it's too hot.
Yeah, it's sweating
it's
now.
so warm in here. We then have George saying that he's going to call a cab because they're going to go to this fancy Philharmonic to meet up with Barbara, we think.
So he goes to make the phone call.
He goes to make the phone call, and she persuades this agent to let her play a song at this bar that they're going to, which is a separate place. She uses her eyes, and this guy says, "Oh, of course, darling, we can go there straight away if you'd like." She says, "Oh, I need to do some things, meet me at midnight."
That's right.
George comes back, and Annetta says, oh God, I don't feel too well. George, can we call it a night, please?
You mean you don't want to spend the night with me?
Yeah. She's like, I would love nothing more than to spend the night with you, but I'm just too tired and I've got a headache.
And then he's putting the biggest kiddie paddy in the back of the car.
In the back of the car, and he's like looking at
George, don't be like that.
For the intents and purposes, I'll play George. Well, you just weren't interested in me at all night, and now all of a sudden you need to go home because you've got a headache. To which Annetta is just like, oh, for fucking shut up,
stop
mate.
being a fanny.
Stop being a mad ass.
I'm going home.
She plays the soppy card, tries to like lie on him and like give him cuddles and things. She's like, oh, but you will write those songs for me, won't you? Like making sure that he's got his head in the game. Go home and write me that song that you promised to write.
That's it. Instead of going to the Philharmonic. She basically wants him to write this song tonight.
So we don't know what the problem is with the black and white films. It's really difficult to tell what time of day we're at. Everything looks like nighttime.
It does.
But I'm guessing this was like an afternoon or like an early evening.
I think it's early evening.
So they get a taxi home. She gets dropped off. He goes home, sits there going dun, 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 dun,
he does, like really angry.
Really angry. But he's writing this song. Sounds like a nice little ditty.
Sounds really good.
And he finishes it like
really quick,
like that. It's done. The song's written.
She's not even home yet.
No, she's like just like powdering her nose, and he's like at the door. I've got you this song, my darling, and she's like,
may I come in? And she's like, she's tired, like, not well.
I'm sick.
It's literally like that as well.
I'll listen to it in the morning. Now get out of my house so I can go out and have this party. So he leaves anyway, and he literally, he's a bit of a creep. We start to see his sort of mental side take over.
Yeah,
Get back to the actual story, what's going on. This guy's head is like, he's being sent different messages from different women. Barbara's sort of not interested in him, just wants him to write his music. And then we've got Inetta, who's pretending to be interested. Barbara is interested in him.
She's interested in him.
But just wants him to write his music for the concerto.
Yeah.
And then we've got Inetta, who's not interested in him at all, but just wants him for his money. Yeah, so we've got Devil and Angel on his shoulder. This is kind of the whole sort of story about George, what's going on with him. He's got Devil and Angel on his shoulder. He really wants to write his concerto, but he's too interested and too involved in this woman to work on the,
he's
on
getting
the music
swayed,
that matters.
isn't he, really?
Yeah. So he waits outside of her house by this like little coffee shop.
It's
with like a little,
it's like
some
an old man
that we see a couple of times throughout the film.
Yeah,
because
there's like an excavation dug outside.
Yeah, he's sort of keeping.
So I think
an
the
eye
old
on
man's waiting for the parts to be delivered.
Right.
So he's having a coffee with him.
He's having a coffee with him, but he's
really
like
random,
keeping an eye on her window.
And he sees the light go off,
and the light goes off, and he goes. He feels like he can relax. He's like, okay, she's gone to bed then. Sound. He was just about to leave. A taxi pulls up.
So a taxi back then is a horse and carriage.
A horse and carriage. Yeah.
It's not a black cab. It's not anything. It's a horse and carriage.
Black,
well, yeah.
So that pulls up, and he's like, "Oh, what the hell's going on?" She walks out the house,
and it's literally within 5 minutes
in a frock. Yeah. I mean, you'd wait a bit longer, wouldn't you? You'd just be like, let's let him go. I suppose
she's not expecting someone to stand outside and have a coffee watching a window.
He notices. He runs over in a. What is going on, Inetta? She grabs her by the arm as well, like dead, like aggressive, and she's like, "Fucking get off me!" Yeah. She's like, "I'm just bored of you, George."
Yeah, she's like, "Leave me so alone." Boring sometimes. Yeah. She's like, "I tell you what, you can come. You can come later on if you change your temperament."
Yeah. She calls him a bore, which I think probably the first time anyone's ever called someone a bore.
Yeah,
fantastic, lovely little scene. It's quite funny.
And then she goes off in the taxi and Barbara's there.
Yeah.
She's right there.
And Barbara just appears saying, "Oh, we're going to the Philharmonic. You need to come. I thought you were coming." And he's like, "Oh, leave me alone." He is in a huff now.
Yeah, he is angry.
He's in a right old huff.
And she says, "You need to change her."
Yeah, you need to change.
You need to stop focusing on her and focus on your own music for you. She goes, and then he goes back to the old man. And then the delivery truck comes.
That's right.
With all the big long poles, and they fall off the truck. Yeah. Make a loud noise.
We have.
So this is where you start to know.
Yeah, Barbara telling George that he needs to stop being a dick. Yeah. Focus on his own talent. Yeah. As soon as that interaction finishes, like a horse and cart comes past with these big pipes. Yeah. Gas pipes, metal pipes, whatever.
The metal.
And it goes down this little.
The excavation
and crack, like a big crash, big clang, and then we have the POV of George again.
His face just like. His
eyes are wide. He's all blurred, and then we know, okay,
something's gonna happen.
Blackout's coming. Yeah. Something's about to happen. Blurred vision, scary eyes. He's out of it, and then he goes back home, but takes like the ring.
So it's a
what did he call it?
A curtain tie.
A curtain tie. He takes that and ties like a knot in it.
A knot in the middle, yeah.
And we're like, what's he going to do with that?
Yeah.
He's not going to hit someone over the head with it, is he?
But he's taken Inetta's cat to look after because...
Sorry, we missed that.
Yeah, someone who lives in the apartments doesn't like the cat, so George has said he'll look after it.
Oh, I'll look after your cat, please.
So when he's tied this knot in this curtain tie... Straight away, the camera goes to the cat.
He looks at the cat,
and
we're thinking, "Oh, he's not going to strangle the cat.
He's going to kill the fucking cat."
But
he does try to grab the cat.
Rule of 3.
I think it is the rule of 3.
Because that's later. He tries to grab the Anyway,
was it later?
Yeah, that's later. He just looks at it, and the cat's sort of like,
it is later.
The cat's basically looking at us to say, "Don't you fucking dare."
It is later on. Yeah. Sorry. So he walks out the house, and then you hear a woman scream,
and then we hear a scream.
And then it's the fast orchestra starts coming in. And then you see the police van turn up and then they all start running out.
Chaotic.
Yeah, and it's Barbara.
Yeah.
has been...
Barbara that's been attacked.
Yeah, so she's got red marks on the neck.
Big red mark on her neck, a big bruise on her Adam's apple. On her Eve's apple.
Yeah. It's the first time I've heard it be called that. A Reeves apple. That's fucking great.
Yeah. Anyway.
And
we find out that she's been strangled with a curtain tie.
Yeah. She's been strangled with something in it. Yeah, that's right. And then you see George, and he's walking back, and he falls into the excavation.
That's right, yeah.
And then he comes out of his blackout.
And there's an old man. I don't think it's the same old man, but there's another old man who says, "Oh, are you all right, sir? Would you like me to help you up?" And he's like, "I'm fine."
Yeah.
And then he says, "Oh, there's police at whatever number house that she lives at."
Yeah.
So he runs off to Barbara's house and is like, "Oh God, what happened?" No one seemed to know who it was because obviously whoever it was attacked her from behind.
Yeah.
So she didn't get to see who it was. She sort of passed out, and then whoever it was ran off.
Yeah.
My God, it's warm.
It's really warm.
We're nearly there.
We're doing well.
We're not too far off.
Yeah, we're not too far.
There's probably got another half hour.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, but she's not too bad. He hurt her neck. She's all right. She seems fine. No one seems to be accused of anything at this point.
No.
And then he tells Barbara I was being silly before. I promise you I'm going to finish my music for your daddy.
Yeah.
Daddy's going to get his music.
Daddy wasn't there.
And this is where I realised that it's devil and angel.
This is where I wrote that as well.
So she's wearing all light clothes, and in the last scene that Inetta's in, she's wearing dark clothes.
Yeah, it's like
so the iconography is basically the fact that she's the devil, she's the angel.
Yeah.
Light versus dark.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what to choose because he's following his dick, basically.
Yeah.
Which, for all intents and purposes, is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
He goes home. He's going to focus on his music. He starts again, so he starts writing.
He does, yeah. Straight away.
He's writing a lovely bit of piece of music.
He's got something in his head, and
then the bitch is back.
Yeah.
She's back from gallivanting the night before with her little music friend.
Can't remember his name.
No,
I never wrote it down. It begins with a C.
Beep.
Yeah, I was gonna say it, but
we're gonna have to bleep that out, aren't we?
Yeah.
I'll bleep that out. Oh,
we'll just put like C.
Yeah. You know what I mean.
You'll know it.
But bitch is back after the gallivanting from the night before.
Yeah.
And she's trying to persuade him to write for her. He says no. I am done with you, bitch. Brushes her off. He does. Stands up for himself.
Yeah. What man?
He's not falling for it. Well, don't worry, because in about 5 seconds he's necking him.
Exactly, yeah.
She's a conniving cow. She doesn't give up easily.
No.
She gets wild.
So what she does is he keeps saying no, doesn't he? And then she sort of uses the piano in a way to get him back in the game.
Very
so she's playing
frantic
the piano.
Then, isn't she?
Yeah, she starts playing
nervous because she thinks he's going to leave her.
So he started writing this piece, and she goes, "Oh, George, you've written this for me. This is my song. You wrote this for me. You must have been thinking about me."
And then she's like, "I'll give you anything." She makes up some lyrics, man. I'll give you anything.
Yeah.
You are my one and only.
Not like that.
It's pretty much like that. And he's like, really? Like, for some reason, he just believes everything she says.
Yeah. He falls for it, and he agrees to write more music.
And they get a smoochy smooch on.
Yeah.
She's got a show. She's got a show because the next scene we have posters of her going up. So this must be a bit sometime later. No more blackouts for the time being.
Yeah.
Sometime later, her poster goes up, Anetta's poster goes up on one of the boards.
So it's like that she's sort of made it. She's got this big
what
show
she wants.
coming up.
She's got a show, and it's her show coming up, and he has a ring in his hand.
Yeah.
So we think they've been getting along and things have been going great. We have bonfire night, and we have it, but obviously called Guy Fawkes Day back then.
Yeah.
And some kids are like singing in the streets, like Guy Fawkes. They're
asking for some money, don't they?
Guy Fawkes Day.
Yeah. This is what I mean. So sometimes throughout the film, it is very out of nowhere, like just sort of musical, sort of. inspiration comes into the film, where it's just a bit weird.
It's really cool. It's really interesting.
It's very different.
The kids are wearing Halloween masks,
and the masks are.
If you Google
masks, if you Google masks, Halloween masks back in 1945, they're the creepiest fucking masks you've ever seen. They're simple, but they're awful.
If you've watched Scream 2, of the scene where she's doing her performing arts piece.
That's right, yeah.
In that auditorium, and then they're all wearing these fucking terrifying, like, Roman-y type masks.
The like Greek goddess statue mask.
So the
you see it in Scream 6 as well. You
see
that mask in Scream 6.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Oh yeah. I know what you mean. I've watched it. Fuckers. So he gives some money to these kids. He's like, shucks, you little.
He gives them a shilling.
Gives him a shilling. He's like, oh, blimey, mister, 1 shilling, is it? Oh, wonderful. And then
they say, you're a toff, you.
You're a toff. Pretty much exactly what happens. Blimey, mister. And then they walk off. And he's like all happy. He's about to propose to the woman that he loves.
Yeah.
What a dickhead.
He asks for a hand in marriage.
Yeah. So he goes to her house. The maid comes in. She's like, "Oh, Mister, no, don't come in."
Oh yeah,
which is exactly what she sounds like. I'm not joking. It's like, "Mister, no, you can't go through there. Mademoiselle." It's so fucking stereotypical.
It really is.
Fucking racist, but okay.
Yeah.
It's 1945. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, Mister, please, no, don't go in there." He knocks on the door. She answers it, and she's all like, "Oh, hi, George.
Yeah.
Wow, didn't expect to see you here."
Closes the bedroom door really quick.
Door behind her.
Yeah.
She's all like flustered. Like if it was nowadays, she'd be tying up her like top buttons, and her hair would be all like so she's like, I'm sorry. But she's like
me now.
Flustered. She's all flustered. She's all hot. She comes out. She's like, "Oh, George, please fucking leave."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I've come here to propose to you. I've got a ring." Like it's like if you was in the audience at that time, all together everyone would go, like, "You fucking idiot."
Yeah.
It comes out of nowhere. Even she's like, "Really?"
Now's really not a good time.
No. But then Mr. Agent from the restaurant walks out of the bedroom door, like looking dead, like, because I have got you now, George.
I'm afraid you're too late.
Yeah, I'm afraid you're too late.
We're to wed next week.
What is this? You're trying to marry her?
Yeah.
And he's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, George, come on. But obviously his psychosis, his madness, his fucking head's not in the right place. But then the music's really getting to him.
Her true colours show to George then, like she looks at him like dead dismissive, and she's like
treats him like a bug.
I got what I wanted from you, and now look at me, I've
got my shows. And then he's red.
Yeah, he's fuming.
He doesn't go into a blackout though.
No, he doesn't.
This is just pure rage.
Yeah, he goes home, doesn't he?
He dives at this guy. He's like, "Oh yeah, what are you doing here? Why are you here? Why did I not give you? Thought you said you loved me." And then he's all the time he's staring at this guy.
You told me at the piano.
And he's like backing him up, and he's like falling over stuff like, help! This guy looks like he's gonna kill me. And sure as shit, 5 seconds later, he's got him by the throat, and he's like, and it's pretty violent.
Bashing his head on the wall.
It's pretty violent. Like, the aggression is like is there.
It's very real.
The scene is really well shot.
I thought
really well acted.
Yeah.
The acting in that scene, because she's get the
trying her hardest.
Trying to rip him off, scratching him on his face.
They've clearly just gone for it.
It is a good scene. This is for 1945. This is a brilliant.
It's very aggressive,
scene. Very violent, very aggressive. Minus the blood and gore.
Yeah, of course.
But for what this film is, this is a brilliant scene. It shows that his head's not there anyway.
No.
Never mind these blackouts. He's lost the fucking plot. He thinks his woman's in love with him when clearly she isn't.
Yeah.
He's completely lost the plot.
Yeah.
And then he gets up and leaves, goes home, and he's got like blood on his face, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's got a little bit. Yeah, yeah. Because I said it was stupid because he wipes it off.
He wipes it off and then it just
there's no cut.
There's no cut or anything.
How stupid. 1945 for you.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well done. Yeah. He throws the ring away.
Yeah.
And then he grabs like his sheet music.
Yeah.
Again, this is ridiculous.
It's
as well.
awful.
He throws it at his like violins.
It's got about
and
4
cello,
or 5.
And they fall, make a big crashing noise.
But they literally go flying off a sheet of paper.
They literally.
It looks like
off.
a poltergeist just fucking grabbed him and decided to throw him. It looks so over the top, isn't it?
They go flying, and then we have a POV again.
But you hear the violins making a clanging noise, very loud noise again.
The actual music.
The third? Is this the third?
Second.
Because we
no, it's the third because it happens in the first 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Sorry. When he gets the cat. The music is really good in this scene. So when the violins get knocked over, we have this screeching violin being played at the top of his. That's it. And then we see his eyes widen, and then boom, he's in blackout
mode again.
He has these horrible blank eyes. This is why he's a good actor, because every time he goes into this blackout mode, I believe it.
Yeah,
it's like 100%. His eyes are like.
It just becomes a different person straight away.
He's very, very good at this.
Yeah,
very, very good at doing it.
It's very much Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good, this bit.
Yeah.
He grabs the.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
He grabs the
curtain tie again,
ties it in a knot.
Then he goes for the cat.
Straight back to the cat again. The cat's looking at him again as if to say,
"It's on like Donkey Kong."
He dives for the cat. The cat scurries off.
Yeah.
And then he's like, right, I'm gonna have to get my hands on something else then.
Yeah.
And he walks out with his tie in his hand. So I put great shot here. He's holding the rag, but he's holding it like this, and he's like tightening it. And then it zooms in on him. Really good little shot.
His face. Yeah. Yeah, he walks out the house, doesn't he? He leaves.
It's really good. Oh no, that's a little bit later, but he. At this point, I thought, I wonder if he knows what he's doing, because to me at that point it was like he knows he's getting himself in these situations, but I didn't really click with the music, like the loud noises.
Okay, I'm with you.
Necessarily triggering him. But yeah, he goes back to Inette's flat like instantly after that fight.
Yeah.
And he's left.
So no.
Has he left?
No. So he's gone to a house and sort of hidden.
Yeah.
Oh, and he sees the mentor and they kiss.
He leaves, doesn't he?
And he leaves and she goes up.
And she goes back into the house.
And I
think he climbs out of like a back door, which is sort of on a balcony.
Yeah, I think
of some sort, because he ends up entering through like a glass door.
I was writing at the time,
yeah. He enters through like a glass door, so I think he somehow gets himself round to this balcony.
Yeah.
Comes through the back door, and then.
And she's facing the wrong way.
And then boom, strangles her.
Yeah.
To death, instant. We don't see a lot. It's just the action, and then cuts to the next scene.
This is probably my second favourite part of the film.
Yeah. This bit is fantastic. The idea behind this is just brilliant. For 1945, this is a genius idea.
Yeah.
The whole film, this is so well written, this film. We have we've got that's where he holds the rag as he's walking up to the back door.
So when he strangles her, she makes a screaming noise, but then there's a commotion outside.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there's a big noise outside as well,
because
he's left the door open.
The cat's got out.
Yeah.
And the cat has been hit by a car.
And run over as well.
So the cat's dead anyway.
So the cat and Anita die at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is sort of just to end her story. Which is brilliant. I love that. That's a great little thing to do as well.
Yeah.
But it also ties in with towards the end as well, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
So he carries her out of this building.
Literally like this.
Like she is just a dead weight, and it looks like a doll, but to be fair, if it is a doll, they've done really well at making it look like a human being, because it
does look real.
He's carrying it too easily, so it must be a doll.
Yeah.
But it looks real.
Yeah.
And then he walks out immediately into this crowd of Guy Fawkes festival.
It is like a festival. Really.
So they're all walking towards this big pile of wood. And everyone's got like fake Guy Fawkes dolls that they're taking to burn.
So obviously Guy Fawkes dolls have masks on.
And he picks up the Guy Fawkes mask and puts it on her face.
Yeah.
Genius. Absolute genius.
So good.
Which is why I said I wonder if he knows what he's doing, because this is too clever.
Yeah, but you realise after that. Yeah. I know what you mean.
That's why I was like, this is so clever. It's really well done.
Yeah.
He walks up with this mob to this big pile of wood, and he climbs this ladder.
They say to him, don't they? Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Get it up to the top.
Get it. We want that one on top. And he's like, oh, fuck's sake. He's not carried his body.
It's like high up.
Yeah, it's really
it's not
high
tiny. It's huge.
He carries it all the way to the top. As they're lighting it, they start lighting it, and he's still on the ladder. Hurry up, mate, get down!
We almost set you on fire, pal.
And he comes down, and then waft, his thing goes up in flames. And I turned to Scott again and went, that's genius.
Yeah,
that is genius.
Absolutely fantastic.
Genius. What a great scene.
Such a well thought way of doing it.
I've put it down here. Carries her to pretend to be Guy Fawkes, puts a mask on her, carries her up to the top of the pile, and she is toast. He's stood down at the bottom looking up at what he's done, and he's like absolutely delirious. His eyes are like even more wild than they've ever been. The music that plays as the flames go up comes to a big crescendo, and you're like, oh my god, it's actually a bit of a masterpiece. For 1945, this is a bit of a masterpiece.
It's really good the way that they thought it through. I'm trying to see what I wrote.
Really well done.
He's got away with it again.
Yeah, so he's got away with it.
But you do see it. So I get what you're saying, because when they light it up in flames, the panic in his face. And you can tell he feels awful.
He looks like he feels bad for what he's done.
Yeah, because his eyes are like the crowd.
Mad. He's stumbling through the crowd, trying to get away.
Yeah.
And on his way home, he walks into the old man that's looking after the excavation again, and he says, "Oh mate, I've just picked up your cat. Your cat's been killed." And he just sort of gives him a shilling.
He says, "Do you want to give me a shilling and I'll bury the cat?"
And he just sort of goes, "Yeah, go on." Yeah. So I'm not arsed about the cat whatsoever. He didn't give a shit. The only reason he had the cat was because it was her cat, and he wanted to do something nice for her.
2 minutes later, he walks back into his house.
Yeah. Goes back into the house. He recognises. Sorry, we haven't noticed this before. When he's at the doctor's, originally he said, "I always get this pain in my neck." Blackouts. And he walks in, and the first thing he does is go, "Oh, pain in my neck." So that's when we know he's slipped out of it.
Yeah, he comes out of it when he's in the house, and then he starts going.
And then he goes,
"Here, kitty."
And we're like, so he definitely doesn't know what he's doing.
Exactly.
That's where I realised that this guy, when he's in his blackouts, he has no fucking clue what's going on.
It doesn't have a dicky bird.
He then sits down at his piano and writes the best part of the piece.
So good.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's really dark.
Yeah. It's really heavy. It's brilliant. It's
really significant.
Lovely, it's showing his madness a lot more. We get to this point where we're at the sort of final act of the film now, where you can see the madness is starting to show after he's come out of his blackouts. He knows something dark's happening, so he's writing dark pieces of music, but he can't quite figure out the actions of what he's doing.
Exactly.
But he knows in his mind that he's losing the plot.
Yeah.
The music's sort of reflecting what's going on in his mind.
Exactly. That's what you start to realise when you watch the film.
And that to me is why this film is so good. Yeah. It's a real great representation of how
it's literally like
how someone can delve into madness.
It's literally like writing like a piece of music, like especially like orchestral music. You know, it starts off more flowy, nice, and it gets darker and darker and darker, and then you have this massive crescendo at the end.
Brilliant.
Which is exactly the way that this film is.
Exactly the way this film goes, and this is where the final act comes now. So he's now written the final part to his piece. Barbara's.
You hear newspaper guy, don't you? The next day,
that's it. Yeah,
he says, "Woman missing, show cancelled. Police are frustrated and lost as usual." I found that funny because he's singing it, isn't he?
That's
going,
it. Extra,
women missing, show cancelled, police are frustrated.
What they're fucking doing.
Yeah, literally.
But sorry, just to go back to that bit where he's playing the music, we have a really wonderful shot.
Oh yeah.
How the hell they've done this? Because it's overlooking, but it also sort of pans up and down.
Yeah.
And around the room. It's magnificent.
Yeah, it's really good.
John Brown, take a fucking bow.
Yeah.
The guy who directed this, take a fucking bow, because that scene alone is worth a fucking million
because they end it with it like right over him playing, and you see him
it looks down on him,
and he's actually playing the piano.
It's so good. I would advise anyone that hasn't seen this film to I
was going to say this at the end.
You've never seen a black and white film like this before.
No, not at all.
This is a perfect example of how to do it.
Yeah,
it's so good.
100%.
Anyway, we'll get to that at the end.
Yeah.
Still there.
The police go and
the cat is still there. Goes back, does his music. It's a great shot. Showing Mad just escalating with the intensity of his music. He's playing better after he's had an episode.
Yeah.
And then the police turn up at his house. Maybe a day later, because obviously we have that paper shot. Extra.
Yeah.
Police turn up at his house while Barbara's dad's there saying, "You've got the job.
Yeah.
We're ready to go for the show.
And it's going to be tonight.
It's going to be, tonight you're going to play, and we're going to do the first one to a small crowd just to get us going, see how it goes." He's absolutely made up. He's buzzing. He's so excited.
Yeah.
The police come in and they're like, "So you didn't do this then?" And they sort of dismiss it straight away. He's like, "Honestly, I don't know what happened." Like, they don't have any concrete evidence.
He says, "I've been nothing but cooperative with you.
Yeah, I've been nothing but cooperative.
Now I want to be left alone.
Just leave me alone. I've got to work for this piece tonight." And they go, okay, right, Sam, see you later." As they leave, one of the coppers though, he's like, "Nah, I'm not convinced. I still think this guy did it." The other's like, "Oh really? Okay, well you go ahead."
Yeah.
Basically, the coppers they're not asked.
No.
I guess you could get away with murder in 1945 because this guy does. And it's quite obvious it's him. He's involved with every person that's died.
Yeah. He's been
so
in and around them.
Yeah. It just makes sense. It has to be him. But the police are just like, we've got no evidence. We can't put him away. We need evidence. So one of the coppers says, "Right, I'm going to find the evidence. I'm going to go back."
And he looks at the Guy Fawkes poster, doesn't he?
Yeah.
For some weird reason.
So he has, and he also has. No, that's later. But later on, he has like a piece of paper on his desk. This copper goes off. He goes back to the two crime scenes. And he goes off to make sure everything's all right for the show. And then he says, "Right, I'm going to go home." He's still a bit worried about Inetta, what happened to her. He says, I'm very restless.
But he starts flirting with Barbara.
But he starts flirting with Barbara now. He's like, Inetta's
he's very interested in Barbara now.
Barbara's showing more of an interest in him.
And he says something like, when I play my music tonight, I'll be looking at you the whole time. So he's really like engaging with her. So I don't know whether in the back of his mind he knows something's happened and it's
that's it. So the police say that we know you tipped the guy
about the cat,
even though you said you didn't know what happened to the cat
or something.
And you were at home, so we know you went back out that night. He says, "Look, I'm telling you everything I know. This is what happened. I know I have blackouts, but I've been so forefront with you that I'm telling you I don't think I've not done this." That's when they say, okay, he goes to try and see. He says, "I don't believe." One officer suspects it's him. So
the officer wants him to go with the officer, don't they?
That's right.
When it's just them two, he's like, "Well, you think we're in danger, we need to take you so that we can at least say that it's definitely not
so
you."
First show's arrived, but he can't get Inetta out of his mind. Barbara tells him that he'll get past it, focus on the music tonight. They have a bit of a flirt, and then he goes back to his house to get ready. And the copper is in the dark, and it's quite a nice light switch comes on, and he's sat there, and he's like, "Oh, hello," and it's a little bit of a jump scare. It's not too big, but there isn't any jump scares in films at this time. But this is quite a good little scene.
It's a very typical little camera thing. Bond, he sort of stands up out of nowhere.
Hello, Mr. Bond.
Exactly. Definitely.
And he says that he's found a paper on his desk of how to make the cord, because it was how to get away with murder.
Right.
Was to wrap this cord.
I must have been right.
Yeah.
So I didn't.
And he also says that I've seen there's a singe on your trousers that could have happened from the bonfire.
Yeah.
There was a bonfire right outside where the murder took place.
Yeah.
You could have been there and you could have dumped the body. Copper's done his job basically. He's done a really good job. He's basically called him out. And there's something else. Yeah, the cat doesn't make sense. He was on about the cat. That doesn't add up either.
Yeah.
You definitely left the house. We know you left the house to go back out after you'd come home from the argument. And the copper says, you need to come with me. You can't go ahead and do this piece now. You've got to come with me to Scotland Yard.
Yeah.
He says, oh, please just let me do my show and then I'll come to Scotland Yard and I'll be as forefront as I have been so far. Copper says, no, I can't risk it. I need you to come to Scotland Yard.
Yeah.
We then go to the final scene of the film, where we're at the concert. Yeah. We're at George's concert.
Yeah.
And George arrives at the concert.
Yeah.
All alone.
On his own.
So I was like, okay. Shit. Copper's even dead. Is that it again? Yeah.
I thought he's dead. Yeah.
We have then George playing his music. It's a brilliant scene of the cinematography. He's playing the softer parts at the beginning.
This is the best part of the film.
Sort of build up to a little crescendo, which is obviously the first murder.
Yeah.
He flashes back to the first murder.
That's it.
And then he plays like the second part of the piece, but the cinematography of it's swirling around him. His eyes are going wild. He's sweating.
He's having flashbacks.
He looks at the seat where this is what I got from it. So there's a spot next to Barbara in the front row where there's a seat empty. I'm assuming that's meant to be the coppers, or it's meant to be Anetta's. I would imagine the copper, because Annetta wouldn't have gone to a show because he ditched her for the show.
Yeah, but at the time he might have bought her. Well,
maybe.
It's open to
interpretation.
Yeah,
I think it's the copper because Barbara looks at the seat and goes. So like she understands that the guy was meant to be there.
because he said he was close to him anyway, didn't he, at the beginning? I suppose so. Yeah.
So that's what I think.
But then it goes to a different scene.
Really starts to reflect in his madness at that bit.
It does.
Yeah, we cut to.
It just randomly goes out with policemen walking on the street, and you hear banging on the door, which is like when you're in London in the houses, you have like these. Like metal fence bars, and it has like a downstairs cellar.
Cellar. They're like little cellars, aren't they? But just before that, we have a really brilliant shot as it pans around, and they notice the chair. It then zooms in, and you start seeing the sweat on his face. And his eyes are going a bit mad, and he's going a bit blurred because he's seeing like the murders again.
Yeah.
We then cut to that cellar shot where two people go, oh, blimey, there's a man down there. Yeah. Let's go and help him out. They got to run down these stairs.
You need to do audiobooks. I'm telling you.
He runs down the stairs and he's like, I'm inside, get me out. The copper comes out and he's like, all like ruffled for some reason. So he's been like beaten up basically by George and shoved in a cellar. Fantastic. I love that that's what happened to him.
Yeah.
He rushes off to the concerto.
Concerto.
And George, we see a POV of George looking out, and he sees the door open, and the copper just sort of stood in there.
One door opens and then he comes out.
And then he looks across, and then another door, and there's another copper in the door, and he's like, fuck. Music's like, he's playing wildly while he's doing this. The music gets more intense. We have the flashback to him killing Annetta, strangling Annetta. He's realised what he's done now. He realised he strangled Barbara as well. The flashbacks are all coming, the blurring, the screens flashing.
So you realise
going off. It pans around the room of the orchestra, all playing very intensely. And then we cut to George again, directly in front of George, and he goes, I can't finish this show. I can't finish the show, and he walks off to the back.
He asks Barbara to play for him instead.
Barbara, finish for me while the music's still playing. Barbara gets up and she's like, I don't want to do this. So she starts playing. He goes to the back. Barbara's dad's there, and he's like come on, you can get through this, get back out there and show them. And then the police come in and go, you're nicked. That's it, son, you're nicked. And he's like, no, you all need to get outside there and listen to the end of my music. And like his eyes are just fucking wild, aren't they? He's going batshit. They're like, no, you're coming with us, son. He grabs the...
They say that they're going to hang him.
That's it, you're going to get a hanging for
and he's
all
like,
this.
I'd rather die near than be hung or something.
He said, that's it. So he said, I'd rather die. He grabs the gas lantern again from the wall and throws it at them. Literally launches it at them. The whole room just goes boom in flames, which is brilliant. I love that. It's
really good,
He sprints out
and does it again.
No, sorry. Yeah, he does it a couple more times. And then the crowd in the audience from the other room start to notice the smoke and start to panic and start running towards the door.
It just
and then
becomes
George
chaos,
is just at the door. He opens the door and goes, everybody get back inside now. We will finish this music. And they're all like, ah! He's got like a candlestick again or something. He's like threatening to whack them all and like, it's brilliant. He's so good in this scene.
It's just full of chaos. It's just absolute bedlam.
Runs out to his piano. The whole building is now on fire. Barbara's there going... Barbara's there going, you need to leave, please leave, George. George is he's like, no, I will finish my music. The smoke is just engulfing this building by this point.
Everyone's going
Barbara's dad grabs Barbara, pulls him outside, and then she says, oh, we need to get him out. And he goes, no, I think it's better that it ends this way. And then
so
that's
good.
If we zoom into George playing the piano frantically, madness. It's like it's all cultivated to this moment. And he's like loving it though. He's got these wide eyes, but he's smiling as well, and he's playing this piano with all the smoke and flames in the background. He's absolutely insane at this point.
It starts getting. You see his eyes start getting dreary and he starts to
and then the music
slow down and slows still down. Really heavy and intense.
But it's just like doom. Doom.
That's it.
Doom, and then so I guess it's a representation of his heartbeat slowing down as he's slowing down.
That's exactly what I thought.
The music goes, it starts to slow down, and then we have boom, the end on the screen. I was like, oh!
It is so fucking good.
It's so satisfying.
One of the best endings to a film. I've loved horror for years.
The ending to that film is fan-fucking-tastic.
It's really, really
it's
good.
It's so good. The cinematography, it goes from a big wide pan as he's alone in the room for the last time. And it zooms slowly in on him as he's like slowing down. And then like as he's starting to faint at his piano. But then we hear outside music of like strings start to play. And then boom, we just have the end on the screen, like
really
the big string,
the big old fashioned the end.
It's so good. The ending is fantastic. The delving into madness was just brilliant. The smoke and the fire filling the room looked real. It looked good. It didn't look fake.
It definitely looked real. There's nothing fake about it.
There was nothing about that final scene that wasn't perfect. The acting was good. The cinematography was fantastic. The music is brilliant. That piece that he plays is fantastic.
They just don't beat around the bush in that film.
It's
whatsoever.
really good.
They make it really clear and simple what exactly is going on, so that you're not thinking like when you watch films nowadays, you try and think, oh, that's going on, but there's something there as well.
You're not bothered about that. You focus on the story because the story is so good.
That's all you need is just that main story.
The story's fantastic.
You don't need all these other little bits in between. That story just does it for you.
And this is why I like black and white. I give black and white films a chance. Watch Rear Window, watch Vertigo, watch Strangers on a Train, and watch The Birds, all by Alfred Hitchcock. This film is 100% his influence. 100% his influence. Dial M for Murder is another one, and North by Northwest.
Definitely have to.
All of them. There may be some on there. That's the end of the film, and I really enjoyed it. I'm very, very warm, so we're going to try and wrap this up as quickly as possible.
I'm sweating now. But if you've never watched horror films, or you're a bit unsure about them, or you don't like them because they're gory or graphic, or there's there's not one bad bit of language in it.
Watch this.
There's no gore.
The build-up of the intensity in this film is so good.
Yeah.
From the first shot, you're intrigued.
Yeah.
It then slows
100%.
down to build the characters, which is perfect. That's what you want.
Yeah.
But then the crescendo at the end, which ties in with the music, is so fucking good.
So for the whole reason for the music, so every time he's had a blackout and come out of a blackout, he's wrote that piece of music. The big ending to the show is his blackouts.
Oh yeah,
that is what the music is. It's
the
telling
reason,
him his
the
blackouts.
reason the end of the piece of music is so good is because he's killed the love of his life.
Yeah.
And he realises now that he's killed the love of his life.
Yeah.
Even though if he didn't while he was writing it at the time, when he starts to play it, he's like, shit, what have I done? And that's why he's there to die.
Yeah.
He'll die playing that piece of music because he killed her.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
What a film.
Absolutely amazing.
Scream review on this one. It's difficult.
I think it's difficult. It's
difficult because so we enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
We really enjoyed it a lot. There are certain aspects of this film that do not hold up. Some of the blimey, mister.
Yeah, it's very.
But it's the part of the charm.
We've got to put ourselves in that day and age. I'm
gonna give this film a 9 out of 10.
I was gonna say 9 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10, and I mean that with like all honesty. I believe it was that good.
The storytelling, the cinematography, the music, the acting.
The one thing that slightly put me off throughout the film was the fact that I couldn't tell whether it was night or day.
Yeah,
but that's just down to it being black and white.
Yeah, I think they could have been a little bit more clear.
If the lighting was slightly different, we understood what people's names, because they say it once and then they don't say the names for the rest.
That's it. Yeah,
but that comes with the times.
Yeah,
we're so fucking dumb to things that we need it spelled out 10 million times in a film.
Especially like our generation or newer generations are quite lazy.
Iron Man. This is Iron Man. Yeah. Iron Man.
I think we are quite lazy now. Whereas back in the day, they were a lot more intelligent.
That was fucking brilliant. It's a great film. 9 out of 10.
I completely agree with 9 out of 10. That's what I was going to say. So,
what we're going to do next week?
Okay.
We're not going to do this.
Okay.
We're not going to do this. We'll do this on next week's show. Mm-hmm. We're going to do another scratch off for the following week's episode.
Okay.
Next week, we are going to do, if you agree with me.
Is this what we spoke about?
Yeah. I think we're going to do so. Our plan of attack from now on is 3 film reviews and 1 horror related episode.
Yeah.
To do with something.
Just something a bit different.
Just to keep things slightly different. Like we did our top 10 on our first episode.
Yeah.
We've done 3 episodes now, films. We're going to go back to doing something like that.
Yeah.
I think we should start our film Omen seasons.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm happy with that.
So, next week we are going to talk about a film where everything possible during the production of that horror film went wrong.
Yeah.
We will talk about the story of the film as well, not in as much detail
as much
we do on a normal review.
No.
But we're going to go into the behind the scenes of what happened on set of a horror film that is renowned for having
got a
bad hex on it.
Yeah.
This series involves films like The Omen, The Exorcist, The Crow. Are there any more that I can think of at the top of my head? Poltergeist.
Yeah.
If you search film omens, you will see the films that we're talking about. We're going to deep dive. We're going to tell you the story behind the film, what happened, people literally dying on set, things going missing, paranormal things happening on set, things like that. And we're going to do a deep dive into one of those.
Yeah.
That's going to be it for today because it's so fucking warm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening. I thought it was a brilliant episode.
I really enjoyed that. It's really good. It's something different for us as well. It's new for us.
What film?
Tell us if you liked it.
Hangover Street. Go and watch it. Give it a watch.
Well, I've already put it up earlier so that you can see the title of it. It's on YouTube for free.
It's free on YouTube.
You can watch the whole thing and it's perfect.
And it's 77 minutes long, just like this episode is.
Yeah.
Wow. We've done a really good job.
Yeah.
What an omen. let's go until it's 75. 77, sorry. So yeah, like we've saying, we're noticing there may be a little bit of a slack in viewership, but that's probably just down to me being away for the last week. We're going to keep posting more things throughout the week for our social medias, Facebook and Instagram. What we would really, really like you to do, please share those bits of information. Please share the episodes from our main accounts.
Because it takes us time to do it as well. We watch a film, we analyse it.
We're putting a lot of effort into this. We really want to just get the viewership out there. We've got some really good comments and really good private messages from people saying how much they enjoy the episodes and how much they can't wait for the next episode. May not be the views that we're wanting at the minute, but that's fine as long as people are enjoying it. But as long as those people that are watching and enjoying it, please just share them as well. We love the comments, we love the likes, we love the follows. We've got quite a lot of numbers of followers on YouTube and Spotify at the minute, but please share those episodes and please share our content. I know we're asking a lot, but it isn't that much time out of your day, and it doesn't really affect you in any other way, but it really means a lot to us.
It does.
5-star reviews on Spotify, likes and follows and shares for YouTube, and also please engage with our Facebook and Instagram posts. I'm going to get into TikTok this week, so keep an eye on TikTok for the Scream podcast. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. Keep sharing, keep liking.
Really appreciate it.
Scare you later.
See ya.
77 minutes, I think.
Nearly.
72.
1. Bye.